My dear brothers and sisters and my young friends, greetings. My name is Radha Sukhani and I am a medical doctor by profession. We are going to discuss today fatty liver disease. Now, fatty liver disease has become a global epidemic. In big cities in India, this epidemic is catching very fast. Reason? Simple. Our foods have become commercial, highly processed and refined, filled with refined cooking oils, refined sugars, and refined wheat flour. Our lifestyle has become unbalanced when it comes to eating, sleeping, and activity habits. All this leads to obesity, especially abdominal obesity, prominent belly. Once there is fat in the belly, there is fat in the liver. The big problem with fatty liver is that it increases the risk of serious diseases such as high blood pressure, diabetes, heart disease, thyroid disease, and cancer. So, fatty liver disease is a warning sign that serious diseases are taking roots in the body. They are knocking at the door. Today, we'll talk about what is fatty liver disease, why it has become a serious epidemic, and how can we prevent it and reverse it by natural solutions. Those of you who are interested in the written materials on this subject, then they can go to our website www.foodlifestylebalance.com, and this current video which you are watching will also be posted on this website. Now, what is liver and what does it do for us? Liver is the largest organ of the body and it is as important to the body as its heart and lungs. Liver is an amazing factory which processes all our foods. All the foods like carbohydrates, protein, fats, vitamins, minerals, which are absorbed from the digestive tract, first come to the liver. Liver processes it into essential nutrients which nurture the entire body. Liver maintains our blood glucose level. Blood glucose or glucose is the key source of energy in the body. And when there is fatty liver, there is high risk of diabetes. Liver is responsible for making new proteins which nurture our muscles and our cells. Liver makes cholesterol. Yes, 80% of the cholesterol in the body is manufactured by the liver. Only 20% of the cholesterol comes to the body from the food. And people have this wrong notion that cholesterol is coming from the food alone. No, body is making the cholesterol. However, if your food is commercial, refined, and processed, liver will make bad cholesterol. On the other hand, if your food is natural and holistic, plant-based, then your liver will make healthy cholesterol. I challenge you, you try it, and your cholesterol will become normal within a matter of 3 to 6 months. You won't have to take nasty cholesterol lowering medications if you are on natural plant-based foods. Liver also removes toxins from the body which come to our body from food, from water, and from the environment. And finally, liver makes clotting factors, blood clotting factors, so that there is no excessive bleeding. When there is advanced liver disease, the ability of the body to stop bleeding goes away. Your body is what you eat, and your liver is what you eat. If you are eating natural, holistic, plant-based foods, your body will be slim and healthy. Your liver will be very healthy looking, very strong and smooth and dark pink or reddish in color. On the other hand, if your foods are commercial, factory-made, synthetic, processed, junk foods, pizzas, pastas, burgers, hot dogs, sweets, and boxed foods, your liver will collect a lot of fat and it will start looking yellow and black, very unhealthy looking liver. Now, there are three causes of fatty liver disease, or I would say there are three causes of liver disease. One is alcohol consumption, one is unhealthy food and lifestyle, and third is viral infection. Fatty liver is because of two problems: alcohol consumption and unhealthy food and lifestyles. 25 years ago, the most common cause of fatty liver was alcohol consumption. But in the last 25 years, unhealthy food and unbalanced lifestyles have become the biggest cause of fatty liver disease. And it is called non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. In short, NAFLD. So NAFLD is the biggest epidemic of modern times. So fatty liver occurs if the food is not holistic and natural and the lifestyle is imbalanced. That first causes abdominal obesity, and when there is abdominal obesity, there is fatty liver. Now in this talk, we will talk about 6 different subjects. What is fatty liver? Why should we worry about it? How common is fatty liver disease, or how prevalent it is in the world and in India? What causes non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, as we call in short NAFLD? How do we know that the fatty liver is present, and how do doctors diagnose fatty liver disease and its complications? And how do we reverse fatty liver disease by natural solutions? So the first subject we are going to talk about is what is fatty liver disease and why should we worry about it? As I said, if the food is not holistic and the lifestyle is not balanced, then there is collection of fat in the liver along with collection of fat in the belly. Now, fatty liver by itself does not cause any symptoms. You wouldn't even know you have a fatty liver disease. However, as I said earlier, the big problem is it increases the risk of serious diseases like diabetes, heart disease, thyroid disease, high blood pressure, and cancer. About 30% of the patients who have fatty liver disease go on to develop swelling and inflammation in the liver. And then 15% go on to have scarring in the liver, or called cirrhosis, because liver cells die and they are replaced by fibrous tissue. So that condition is called cirrhosis. Now, 3% of the people who have fatty liver disease go on to have such severe cirrhosis or scarring of the liver that their liver fails and they will not live unless you give them a liver transplant. In the year 2001, there were only 8 liver transplants done in India, and in year 2019, 30,000 liver transplants were done in India. And you can imagine the transplant surgery is a very expensive surgery, so many patients can't even afford it. So you can imagine the magnitude of fatty liver disease. Now, cirrhosis also increases the risk of liver cancer, and liver cancer is fast becoming an epidemic almost. Now, medical science has given certain names or terminology for the severity of fatty liver disease. When there is only fat in the liver, it is called NAFLD, or non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. When there is inflammation and swelling of the liver, it's called NASH, non-alcoholic steatohepatitis. Steo means fat, hepatitis means inflammation. So that is swelling and inflammation of the liver. And then there is scarring of the liver, which is called cirrhosis. Now, as I said, that fatty liver disease increases the risk of other diseases. It's a warning signal. The two diseases which appear first are hypothyroidism and high blood pressure. Many times I have people who have thyroid problem approach me and say, I first got thyroid problem, then I became fat. And I said, no, it is the other way around. First you have fat in your belly, then you got thyroid problem. That is the real truth. And same is the problem with high blood pressure. The other serious diseases which are associated with fatty liver are type 2 diabetes, bad cholesterol, heart disease, and cancer. Now, a problem happens when there is fatty liver. There is inflammation in the body, especially inflammation of the blood vessels, and the triglyceride or fat level in the blood goes up. When there is inflammation of the blood vessels become swollen and the lumen decreases. So fatty liver disease is typically associated with heart attacks and early strokes. When you hear that a 40 or 45-year-old person is having a heart attack, most likely they have abdominal obesity and fatty liver. How common is fatty liver disease, or how prevalent fatty liver disease is? Now, fatty liver disease is a global epidemic, and it is an epidemic over the 7 continents of the world. You can well imagine that fatty liver disease and obesity started out in the West, especially in America first, because the foods in the last 50 years in America became very commercial, processed, refined, fast food, junk food, sugary beverages, and so forth. In the coming years, all these foods were kind of exported to the rest of the world, and obesity and fatty liver epidemics became a global phenomenon. The incidence of fatty liver disease in America, North America, is 30%. In South America, especially Mexico, is way higher than even 30%. In Asia, specifically in China, who have adopted Western style foods and dairy. And 25 years ago, Chinese never consumed dairy. But in the last 25 years, they are consuming more of dairy and more of fast foods. So the incidence of fatty liver disease is 27% there. In Middle East, 32%. In Europe, 24%. Australia, 28%. India range. If you go to big cities, 32%. And if you go to villages and small cities, 9% only. The lowest incidence of fatty liver disease is in Africa. And you can well imagine that fast foods and junk foods owners are less in Africa than in the rest of the world. In India, obesity and fatty liver disease have gone up hand in hand. In the last 10 years, the incidence of obesity in India doubled. Obesity started affecting the children, and 30% of big city children are now obese. And along with obesity came the epidemic of fatty liver disease. Now, in section 3, we'll talk about what causes non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Now, it is very important to know the cause, because if you do not know the cause of a disease, you will not know its cure. Now, as I said, the 2 most common causes of fatty liver disease are alcohol, and second, food and bad lifestyle, or commercial foods and bad lifestyle, which causes abdominal obesity. When there is abdominal obesity, a bunch of small problems occur in the body, which are together called metabolic syndrome. And these small problems become big problems. So what is metabolic syndrome? Metabolic syndrome is a condition where the blood glucose starts going up, blood pressure starts going up, lipids or cholesterol, bad cholesterol starts going up, the waistline increases or there is abdominal obesity, and good cholesterol levels go down. Good cholesterol is also called HDL, happy cholesterol. You can remember it is HDL cholesterol. If all these 5 signs are present, then your chances of having fatty liver disease is almost 70 to 85%. Now, in comparison to fat under the skin or overall obesity, the fat in the belly is much more dangerous fat. When there is fat in the belly, it means there is fat around all the abdominal organs. There is fat inside the liver. There is fat inside the muscles. There is triglycerides or fats in the blood vessels. And all the body tissues have more fat. So abdominal fat is much more serious fat than the general obesity or skin fat. So that is why if somebody asks me, what is more important, weight of the body or waistline of the body? And I would say waistline, abdominal fat, abdominal obesity. So waistline is measured at the level of the umbilicus or belly button, and ideal waistline should be height in inches divided by 2 minus 2 inches. But height in inches divided by 2 will do. So if you are 5 foot 10 inches tall or 70 inches, your waistline at the level of the belly button should be 35 inches. If you add 4 to 6 inches to this waistline, then your chances of having fatty liver increases. Epidemic of fatty liver disease. As I said before, the 2 most common causes of fatty liver disease are foods are not natural, they have become commercial, and the lifestyle is unbalanced when it comes to feeding, sleeping, and activity levels. Natural foods are naturally low glycemic. It means when you eat these foods, the blood sugar doesn't go very high. At the same time, fats which are present in the natural foods are unsaturated fats which body can use easily. Commercial foods, on the other hand, have refined sugars, refined oils, and refined flour. And these are high glycemic. It means when you eat these foods, then your blood sugar goes very high. So it goes with pastas, burgers, pizzas, sweets, bread, and all. They increase the blood sugar very fast and create a situation called insulin resistance. Unbalanced lifestyle, if you are not following the proper rules about feeding, sleeping, and activity, will also cause glucose imbalance in the body. And that is the beginning of obesity and fatty liver. Unbalanced lifestyle is next to food in causing fatty liver disease, or as important as food in causing fatty liver disease. A modern city dweller spends more time in eating than in fasting. The process of eating starts at 7 in the morning and goes on until late in the night. After 24 hours a day, almost 14 to 16 hours are gone in the eating process, and fasting is only in the overnight period of 8 to 10 hours. That's not good enough. It keeps the glucose high all the time. If there is physical inactivity, whatever calories we are consuming, whatever glucose we are consuming, we are not using it to make energy. So it all gets converted into fat. Lack of sleep because of work-life imbalance is another cause of obesity and abdominal obesity, simply because when there is lack of sleep, the level of the stress hormone cortisol goes very up, and when the level of cortisol hormone goes up, there is obesity. And I'll say two lines in Hindi which will explain it. गहरी निद्रा का है स्वास्थ्य से गहरा संबंध, अगर निद्रा है कम तो बढ़ जाएगा 10-15 किलो वजन. Now, our eating habits have a big impact on our health. What we eat, when we eat, and how often we eat affects our blood sugar levels. And blood sugar or blood glucose, when it goes up, the level of insulin also goes up. And glucose is the key nutrient which makes energy in our body. It is not the fats, not the proteins. So when glucose level goes up, the insulin level goes up, and a situation is created called insulin resistance. Insulin resistance is a condition where insulin is not able to do its job of making energy from glucose. To understand insulin resistance, we have to look at the smallest unit of our body, and the smallest unit of our body is a cell. So on the right hand bottom screen, you have the picture of a cell. It is a depiction of a cell, which is orange box. The pink dots are glucose, and the blue keys are insulin. So energy is made from glucose, and insulin is the key which helps us make energy from glucose. And how is that? A cell will make energy from glucose when it enters the cell. And insulin is the key which opens the door to let the glucose enter. Now, cell is very protective about the amount of glucose which can go in, because if too much glucose goes in and there is too much energy and heat, the cell will die. So cell is very protective. If the glucose around the cell goes up, then it closes its door shut. When it closes its door shut, only very little glucose can come in, which is not enough for energy. And whatever extra glucose which is left out is converted into fat. This phenomenon, where a cell refuses to work with insulin, is called insulin resistance. Now, on the left side of the screen, I have shown the vicious cycle of insulin resistance. So when you consume bad carbohydrates like refined foods, refined sugars, refined flour, then your blood sugar goes up. If you don't have right eating habits, your blood sugar goes up. You make more insulin. When you make more insulin, then your cells resist insulin. More glucose is stored as fat, And when not enough glucose gets inside the cells are starved, they are hungry, they're looking for more glucose and energy. So you're hungry all the time. So this vicious cycle is called insulin resistance. If you do not eat natural foods, you will have insulin resistance. If you are eating after 8 p.m., which is a common tradition nowadays in cities, that people eat their dinner 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, even 11 o'clock, even later than that. So whatever food you eat after 8 o'clock, it doesn't get utilized for energy and it ends up becoming fat. How often you eat? If you eat 2 to 3 meals a day, then your glucose levels are tame. But if you eat frequent meals, your blood sugar is high all the time and you develop insulin resistance. So if you want to prevent insulin resistance, you have to eat natural foods. You have to eat before 8 p.m. and you have to eat 2 to 3 meals a day, not more than that. Now, our eating habits have changed in the past 50 years. You'll be surprised to know that 50 years ago, before 1970, the incidence of obesity in the entire world was less than 1%. The diabetes incidence was less than 5%, and there was hardly any type 2 diabetes. But after 1970, our eating habits have changed, and we are having more of obesity, more of diabetes, more of heart disease, more of thyroid disease, and so forth. So what was being done 1970? Before 1970, number of meals in a day were 2 to 3 meals. After 1980, in big cities, people are eating multiple meals, several snacks between 2 to 3 meals. Feeding duration was 10 to 12 hours of daylight hours before 1970, and feeding duration after 1980s is running 14 to 16 hours. People start eating at 7 and they go on eating up to late in the night. Eating time was mostly during daylight hours before 1970, and after 1980, people, especially in cities, people are eating late at night. So food and lifestyle diseases, which were uncommon before 1970, are way more common and have become epidemics after 1980. Not only our eating habits have changed in the last 50 years, our foods have also changed in the last 50 years. We are relying more on commercial foods. Especially in cities, people love to drink juices more than they like to eat fruit. And fruit has fiber, which prevents rapid absorption of glucose from the digestive tract. If you are drinking a glass of orange juice, you're drinking juice of 4 oranges. And you drink it within 1 to 2 minutes. So your blood glucose goes very high. So leave the juice for sick, for children or for old who don't have proper teeth to chew the fruit. If you can chew the fruit, then eat the fruit. The other problem is that our water, especially in big cities, has been replaced by sugary drinks. The big problem about soda drinks is that the sugar in soda drinks is high fructose corn syrup. It's a chemical sugar which is made from corn. The problem with fructose is that it increases fat in the liver. And these sodas are full of fructose. Refined sugar does the same thing because it has no other nutrients except for sweetness. So blood sugar goes very high. Same thing happens with refined wheat flour, milled wheat flour sold in packages, or maida, from which most of the baked goods are made, including bread. Now, cooking oils, vast majority of the cooking oils which are sold in the markets are refined oil. They carry a big stamp called low cholesterol, heart healthy, but that is not correct. Refined oils are the biggest reason for fatty liver. Now, how do we know that fatty liver is present, and what do doctors do to diagnose the severity of fatty liver disease? If you have a wider waist circumference or abdominal obesity or big belly, then you must consider that you are developing fatty liver or you already have fatty liver. If there is right upper abdominal pain, there is a likelihood that fatty liver is causing inflammation and it is swollen a little bit. As I said, when there is fatty liver, there is also insulin resistance. And this insulin resistance means there's not enough energy in the body, in our cells. So there is tiredness and early fatigue. And then at the same time, there's increased appetite because our body is not getting enough sugar for making energy. So a person who has fatty liver is hungry all the time, cannot control the hunger, what we call as food cravings. So when you have severe hunger or food cravings, it means you mostly likely have fatty liver. When there is fatty liver, the liver enzymes go up, blood sugar goes up, and blood pressure goes up. When the doctors look at an enlarged liver, the first thing they do is they order liver enzymes. And when there is inflammation in the liver, the level of 3 liver enzymes, which are called AST, ALT, and GGT, goes up very high, sometimes 5 to 10 times the normal. So the most common cause of elevated enzymes is fatty liver. At the same time, cholesterol profile becomes abnormal. You have high level of triglycerides, high level of bad cholesterol or LDL cholesterol. Easy way to remember LDL is lazy cholesterol, bad cholesterol, and low levels of good cholesterol or HDL cholesterol. So you can remember it as HDL means happy cholesterol. Blood sugar goes up, and typically if you have fatty liver, your blood sugar may be 110 milligram per deciliter or higher, and normal blood sugar is 100 milligram per deciliter or lower. If there is inflammation in the liver, uric acid level goes up, and you'll be surprised that there are so many people in the cities who have high uric acid, and typically the doctors tell them go on a low protein diet and your uric acid will become normal. No, instead they should tell them cut down your weight, fix your fatty liver, fix your abdominal obesity, and your uric acid level will become normal naturally. Now, when there is advanced fatty liver disease, the doctor will also order tests for viral hepatitis to see if there is any viral infection. And when an ultrasound of the liver is done, then the fat will show up in the liver. But fat in the liver will show up only when 30% of the liver is filled with fat. CT and MRI tests are, or what we call as CAT scan or magnetic resonance imaging, are done when doctor is suspecting cirrhosis or inflammation in the liver. Final test for the diagnosis of liver condition is called liver biopsy, where a piece of the liver is taken out and then examined under the microscope to see what is the extent of liver disease. When the liver disease becomes advanced, very advanced, then albumin, which is the protein in the body, comes down because, as I said, liver is the place where protein of the body is manufactured. There is jaundice and also bleeding tendency because clotting factors are made in the liver. And how do we reverse fatty liver disease? The good and the great news is fatty liver disease is reversible, especially when it is at the stage of fatty liver or NAFLD or NASH or hepatitis or inflammation. Even when there is cirrhosis or scarring of the liver, then you can prevent further liver damage by simply losing body weight. So liver disease is reversible if there is fatty liver and if there is inflammation. And even if there is cirrhosis, you can prevent further liver damage if you lose 10 to 15 kilos of body weight. Once you lose 10 to 15 kilos of body weight, 40 to 80% of the fat is cleared from the liver and the liver starts healing. But the key is that this weight loss should not occur rapidly. It should not be done with low calorie diets, because when we go on low calorie diets, the weight comes down, but within months, there is a weight gain which is more than the original weight gain. Simply because when you have a rapid weight loss, then your fatty liver becomes worse. Your hunger goes up. Your energy level doesn't come up. So low calorie diets are a poor way or bad way to lose weight. And we will talk about what is the healthy way to lose weight for reversing fatty liver. How do we reverse fatty liver and inflammation of the liver? By following 6 principles. Number 1, change your foods to natural plant-based foods. Change your lifestyle. And we'll talk about that. Fix insulin resistance. That means fix your blood glucose levels. Insulin resistance, mind you, is at the root of all serious diseases like diabetes, heart disease, cancer, high blood pressure, thyroid disease, and so forth. Include antioxidants in your diet. The best antioxidants are in natural foods and natural herbs and spices. If the fat level in the body is very high or cholesterol level in the body is very high, triglyceride level in the body is very high, then the doctors will put you on cholesterol lowering medication. But mind you, once again, I want to tell you, if you discard commercial foods and go on natural plant-based food, your cholesterol will become normal within 3 to 6 months by itself, and you don't have to take nasty cholesterol lowering medication at all. Reversing fatty liver also requires you to eat food rich in probiotics and prebiotic. Probiotic and prebiotic foods are the foods which sustain good bacteria in our digestive tract, and we'll talk more about it. And finally, rejuvenating sleep. Because if you have good sleep, then you have lower levels of stress hormone cortisol. And that means you will not have excessive fat collection in the body. Your blood sugars will not go up. Now, food and lifestyle modification, which you need is first know what to eat. As I said again and again, natural plant-based foods, which are low glycemic and which have healthy fats. When to eat? Only during daylight hours, and we'll talk why during daylight hours. Do not eat after 8 p.m. because body doesn't need any energy after 8 p.m. So whatever glucose your body receives from the food is not utilized, it is converted into fat. How often to eat? Not more than 2 to 3 times a day. If you eat frequently, your blood sugars will remain high all the time, and you develop insulin resistance. In a 24-hour day, you must spend more time in fasting, overnight fasting, and less time during eating. Ideal eating time or eating duration is 8 to 10 hours of daylight time, and ideal overnight fasting time is 14 to 16 hours if you want to stay slim and never have fatty liver disease. When to wake up? Before 7 a.m.? Simply because if you wake up before 7 a.m., you will always be able to go to sleep at right time and have deep sleep. We have this wrong notion in our body that we get sleep when we go to bed. No, we get to sleep. Our sleep time is tied to our morning wake up time. And that is science. And if you want to know more about it, you can go into the section of rejuvenating sleep on our website, www.foodlifestylebalance.com. And it talks all about rejuvenating sleep in detail. And then finally, the sixth principle is activity and exercise. And that doesn't mean exercise alone in the morning for 1 or 2 hours or in the evening for 1 or 2 hours, but being active the entire day. Carry on at least 7 to 10,000 steps per day so that you're constantly using up the glucose which is coming to your body from food. Now, what do we eat? As I said again, holistic plant-based natural food. Why do I say holistic? Is simply because you have to eat your foods in the proper proportion to get the right amounts of your nutrients. Now, I also want to tell you that eating in the proper proportion is very important from the point of view of our body's acidity versus alkaline nature. Our body is alkaline in nature. So we have to eat more of alkaline foods and less of acidic foods. Now, our grains and our lentils are slightly acidic. And animal-based foods like dairy and meat are highly, highly acidic. Similar state with sugars and refined wheat flours, they are very highly acidic. So we have to eat the foods in the right proportion, and the right proportion is 40% of your food should be vegetables, 10% should be fruits, and if you're younger, maybe 20% in fruits. Proteins in the form of lentils and legumes, 20%. Grains, not more than 10%. For every 100 gram of grain, you should have 400 gram of vegetables and fruit to balance acidity and alkalinity in the body. And healthy fat is very essential for healthy body. But when I say healthy fat, I mean cold compressed natural oils, not refined oils sold in the market, and also nuts and seeds, which carry omega-3 oils. If you are eating foods in the right proportion, like I have described, then you have the right amount of carbohydrates, and these carbohydrates will be low glycemic. Low glycemic means your blood sugar will not go to very high levels and you will not develop insulin resistance. Proteins which come from the natural foods are alkaline in nature. Proteins which come to us from animals, such as meat and dairy, are highly acidic. Fats which come to us from plant-based foods are healthy, and the fats which come to us from animal-based foods are unhealthy, saturated fats. Same fats which are coming to us from refined oils are unhealthy fats. They will increase obesity as well as fatty liver. The plant-based foods have the advantage that they will always give us good amounts. If we eat it in the right proportion, they will give us good amount of vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. Antioxidants are those elements present in our natural food which cleanse our cells, clean our cells, remove all the toxins from the cells. And as you know, the new trend now in big cities is detox the body. Detox the body is nothing but eat antioxidants in the right amount, eat natural food. So the four foods which are real poison for our body, and they are all commercial, is refined oil, sodas, refined wheat flour, and refined sugar. Again, pre-prepared commercial foods, fast food, junk foods, baked goods, they are all very rich in sugar, rich in refined oils, and rich in wheat flour. And these are all the recipe for obesity and fatty liver disease. Fructose sugar makes fat in the liver. So eliminate foods which are rich in fructose, such as fruit juices, sodas, and of course, as I said, alcohol in itself causes fatty liver. So if you have abdominal obesity, you have fatty liver, and on top of it, if you drink alcohol, you will have severe fatty liver disease as the time goes. Again, I said that meat and dairy carry unhealthy fats and they should be minimized. At the same time, meat and dairy are highly acidic. When I talk about dairy, I particularly mean dense dairy products such as paneer and cheese, which are very rich in fat. 100 gram of paneer has 18 gram of protein and 20 gram of saturated fat, which is very harmful for the body. And paneer is promoted and cheese is promoted as high protein food. They are high protein foods which carry a very high risk. Science is very clear now that it is not the calories which matter, but it is the quality of food which matters. If you are eating too much of refined sugar, you will overeat and excessive sugar will be stored as fat. On the other hand, if you eat healthy fats, then you will not be hungry for hours. That was our tradition. It was tradition that we eat our breakfast with some ghee or some healthy fat so that we are not hungry for many hours. But when I say healthy fat, that doesn't mean refined oils. That means cold compressed oils, such as sesame oil, mustard oil, and coconut oil. Now, liver is like a machine. What you put in is what you get. If you put in junk food in it, commercial food, fast food, processed foods, which is rich in sugar and unhealthy fats, you will get bad cholesterol, high sugars, which will give you obesity and fatty liver. But if you eat natural plant-based foods, then liver will make the right nutrients for you and keep you healthy. Now, balanced lifestyle is as important as food when it comes to obesity and fatty liver disease. Now, you will be amazed to know that our entire lifestyle is controlled by brain clock. The science says that scientific research, especially in the last 10 years, have shown that all our organs and all our survival behaviors are controlled by a brain clock, which is nothing but specialized nerve cells which are located in our brain behind our forehead. And this specialized cells work like a brain clock. Brain clock is called brain clock simply because it runs in harmony with 24-hour day and night cycle of the sun. It is also called circadian clock because circa means round and DN means day. 24-hour day and night clock. Now, this clock controls our survival behaviors such as wake and sleep cycle, fasting and feeding cycle, activity and rest cycle. Wake and sleep cycle is a key cycle which controls our fasting, feeding, and activity and rest. If we do not have enough sleep, then we will be more hungry because the level of hunger hormone in the body goes up when you have inadequate sleep. This appetite hormone is called ghrelin. So lack of sleep causes increase in ghrelin. If there's increase in ghrelin, you eat more, you're hungry all the time. Similarly, if you don't have enough sleep, you will not feel like doing much activity the next day. So sleep cycle is the key cycle. Brain clock also controls all our organs in the body. All these organs are active during the daytime and they are in a resting mode at the night. So the night time is for rest, repair, and rejuvenate. Our intestines function the best during daylight hours, but after 10 o'clock, they slow down. So if you put food in the intestines or in our stomach late at night, it will not get properly digested. You will get indigestion, acid reflux disease, and you know all those diseases are epidemic nowadays because city people like to eat very late, and most of them suffer from indigestion and acid reflux disease. At the same time, diabetes and other diseases, because anything which we eat late end up being fat because glucose cannot be used in the night. There's no activity in the night to use glucose energy. Sleep deprivation is the biggest epidemic of modern times, especially in the big cities. Part of the reason is artificial light, but artificial light has been here for more than 100 years, and we humans got adjusted to artificial light pretty good. The big problem is that in the last 20-25 years, we have a new kind of artificial light, and that is blue light, which is emitted from our digital devices. The blue light has a problem that it inhibits the release of sleep hormone melatonin in the brain. Sleep hormone melatonin is a very important hormone because it is responsible for rejuvenating sleep. Rejuvenating sleep is important if we want to repair and rejuvenate our body. So, the big epidemic of sleep deprivation of the modern time is digital devices. If you want to have good sleep, you either shut down your digital devices 2 hours before or use a screen on your digital devices, or we have called filters, we call them filters, so that you don't get exposure to blue light. Even then, I will suggest that to shut off your digital devices 1 hour before you are planning to sleep. Digestion and metabolism is best during daylight hours. This is how our lifestyle is decided by our brain clock. During the daytime, digestive tract is more mobile. Digestive enzymes are at their peak during the daytime, and digestive tract slows down after 10 p.m. At the same time, our insulin hormone is very active during daylight hours. So whatever glucose enters the body from digestive tract is used for making energy. So there is better carbohydrate burning during the day and less fat storage. So whatever you eat before 8 o'clock, it is well utilized for making energy. But what you eat after 8 o'clock, that glucose will be converted into fat. That is why eating between 7 and 7 or 8 and 8, 12 hours of the daylight is very important to prevent obesity and fatty liver disease. Now, as I said, the best way to reverse fatty liver and inflammation of the liver and to prevent further damage to the liver is weight loss. 10 to 15% body weight loss. And it is best accomplished by time-restricted eating, not by low-calorie diets. Time-restricted eating means you are watching the clock and not the calories. Watching the clock that you are eating your food in less time and you are fasting for longer time. Actually, the other name for time-restricted eating is also intermittent fasting. But intermittent fasting does not mean that you're not eating enough. You can eat whatever your body needs, as many calories as your body needs, but holistic food within shorter period of time so that you can spend more time in fasting. So in a 24-hour day, you're spending less time in eating and you're spending more time in the fasting mode. Now, why intermittent fasting or time restricted eating is the best way to lose weight? Because it is based on our natural design. For millions of years, humans ate only during the day. It's only in the last 50 years that our eating habits have changed and we are eating late in the night. During the daytime, when we eat, we are using glucose for energy because glucose is coming from the digestive tract. But when we eat one meal, it gives us glucose only for 2 to 3 hours. So in the night, if we eat before 8 o'clock, then beyond 11 to next day morning, your body will not use glucose because there is no glucose coming from the digestive tract. The body will start using fat, which is stored in the body. And when you are using up your fat during that fasting time of the night, then you're losing weight. And that is the most natural way of losing weight. It's also called losing weight by making the body ketogenic. And nowadays, you know what is popular? Keto diets. And keto diets are not healthy for the body. Instead of eating a keto diet, which makes you less energetic, make your body ketogenic by time restricted eating. No, so why time restricted eating is better? Because it steers the body into fat burning keto mode. It reduces glucose level, and when the glucose level falls, the insulin level falls. When glucose and insulin levels are low, then the insulin resistance is reversed. And I told you before that insulin resistance is the root cause of all the diseases like diabetes, heart disease, cancer, thyroid disease, high blood pressure, and so forth. And when the insulin resistance disappears, you're not hungry anymore. There's no food cravings, so you eat less. So as I said, the best time for digestion in our body is 12 hours of daylight hours, 7 to 7 or 8 to 8. In time restricted eating, we eat in an 8-hour window or even a 6-hour window, say between 8 or 2. And if you like to eat later, then it could be 10 to 4 or it could be 11 to 6. You can decide your own time, which 6 to 8 hours you want to eat. But you can eat all you want to fill your stomach, but make sure that the food you are eating is natural, holistic food. Now, weight loss expectations, if you are on 16-hour overnight fasting cycle and you're eating during 8 hours during the day, in the first 3 months, you will lose 2 to 3 kilo per month. In next 3 to 6 months, you will lose 1 to 2 kilo per month. And then after 6 months, you will lose 0.5 to 1 kilo per month. And overall, 10 to 15% weight loss will be accomplished in a 6 months time. So this is slow weight loss. And as I told you, slow weight loss is the key. What do low calorie diet plans do? They put you on low calorie diet so that you lose your weight rapidly within 10 to 12 weeks. And within few months, all that weight comes back, all that fat in the liver comes back. Now, healthy intestinal bacteria, also called microbiome, are very important. Our digestive tract has two kinds of bacteria. Good bacteria, which boost our immune system, which make vitamins like B complex and B12 vitamins for us. And it makes sure that we stay healthy and not get obese. So it has been known that if you have good bacteria in your guts, you will not gain weight. Bad bacteria, on the other hand, are the bacteria which give disease and obesity. Now, how do we promote good bacteria in our digestive tract so that we stay healthy and we stay lean? Is eating pro and prebiotic foods. Probiotic foods mean the foods which carry digestive bacteria, such as homemade curds or yogurt, homemade yogurt, not the boxed commercial yogurts, Greek yogurts, and all those yogurts you get in the market. These yogurts are pasteurized, treated to a high temperature so that all the live bacteria die and they do not give you any probiotic bacteria. If you want probiotic bacteria, you have to make your own curds and make fresh curds. Do not store them for more than 2 to 3 days because then the curds become sour. And when the curd is sour, its probiotic value is low. So fresh curds every day will give you the best probiotic. What are prebiotic foods? Prebiotic foods are the foods which sustain and nurture our good bacteria in our guts. And in the prebiotic food, the most important foods are foods rich in fiber. And I want to tell you here the best grain for high fiber food is millets. Millets and sorghum or buckwheat and similar kind of ancient grains. If you look at wheat, the fiber content is 3 to 5%. If you look at rice, fiber content is only 0.5%. That's why when you get diabetes, doctors do not want you to eat rice because rice will raise your blood sugar very fast. It has very low fiber content. So the most healthy grain, which is all grown in India, is millets. And if you have millets in your food instead of wheat and rice, you will not get any food and lifestyle diseases like diabetes and heart disease. You will save yourself from those diseases. Fresh vegetables and fruits are also very rich in fiber, not the juices. Fresh fruits and vegetables, whole vegetables and whole fruit. The other food, which is a very good prebiotic food, is mustard seeds. So eat a lot of pounded mustard seed foods, put them in the raita, make pickles out of that, and you will get a lot of prebiotic out of mustard. Exercise and activity is an essential survival behavior. If you want to be healthy, you need to be active and exercise every day. A good routine for exercises start with pranayama and yoga. Pranayama and yoga originated in India and has become an international phenomenon. It not only gives us mental health, but also physical health. The second good exercise routine is morning walk for 30 to 45 minutes. If you add fast and slow walking routine, it will give you aerobic benefit. For that, what you do is you walk 5 minutes in your usual pace and then speed up for 2 minutes and then repeat the cycle again. Aerobic exercise means bringing more oxygen in your body, and oxygen is great for our health of our cells. The other aerobic exercises which increase oxygen intake in the body is stair climbing, bike riding, dancing, and incorporate this exercise routine as much as you can, depending on what you're comfortable with. The most important thing is to stay active for the entire day. That is 7 to 10,000 steps per day. And you know now that 7 to 10,000 steps per day has become an international phenomenon. When you are active the entire day, you are burning your glucose energy the whole day long, and there's no extra glucose sitting in the body to be converted into fat. Now, if you have fatty liver disease diagnosed by the doctor, they will typically put you on medications to lower your insulin resistance. Insulin resistance means that will also help you cut down on your blood glucose levels. And the best drug and the safest drug for this is metformin, because metformin increases the insulin sensitivity. It does not increase the level of insulin in the body. There are many drugs which are given for diabetes which work by increasing insulin level, and they are not good medication for reducing fatty liver disease. Uh, the other set of medication which doctor will give you is lipid lowering drugs or cholesterol lowering medication like statins. Now, Indian population is typically lower on an enzyme called CoQ10, so statins give them a lot of side effects like muscle pain or nerve weakness and so forth. But again, I said that the best way to lower cholesterol is to eat natural plant-based foods, and your cholesterol will settle within matter of 3 to 6 months. Do not touch refined oils if you have a high cholesterol. Eat natural oils, and you will be amazed what will happen to your cholesterol levels. They will become normal in 3 to 6 months, as I said. In addition, people who have fatty liver disease also have low levels of vitamins such as vitamin D, B12, C, and E. So, if you have obesity and fatty liver disease, it will be a good idea to have these vitamins. And the best way to take antioxidants is via natural food supplements. And natural food supplements, which give you best antioxidants, are fruits and vegetables. Uh, Vitamin A, C, E is present more in yellow colored vegetables, vitamin E in nuts and in green leafy vegetables. Minerals like zinc and selenium and copper are also good antioxidants, and they are again present mostly in the fresh fruits and vegetables. So you make sure that you get your antioxidants from natural food supplements, not from your pills, because pills are not a very good way to supplement vitamins in the body. Herbs and supplements are the best source of antioxidants, and we in India are a rich nation which makes these herbs and supplements. We were invaded by the British for herbs and supplements. Let's not forget that. So, our herbs and supplements, which are rich in antioxidants, are cloves, ginger, nuts. Triphala is a good source of antioxidant, and you have to eat it in the right or consume it in the right proportion. Cinnamon helps also in lowering blood sugar. Amla is the richest source of vitamin C. Saffron is a very good antioxidant, and Arjun ki chal. And all these can be prepared as natural teas instead of running for green tea. If you have tea made of our own herbs and spices, they will be far better than for you than the green teas, which are very rich in, and many of the green teas are very rich in caffeine. The news is that fatty liver disease is reversible, swelling and inflammation of the liver is reversible, and cirrhosis can be prevented from getting bad if we follow the six principles. These six principles are: eat natural food, keep a balanced lifestyle, eat antioxidants, mostly from your natural foods. If your blood sugar is high, then you may need metformin. Make sure you consume probiotic and prebiotic food to keep your weight under control. And if your triglyceride level is very high, you will require cholesterol. But the best way to normalize your cholesterol is by eating natural oils and by eating natural plant-based foods. Now, all of this will help you not only control fatty liver, but at the same time control other food and lifestyle diseases such as high blood pressure, diabetes, heart disease, thyroid disease, and cancer. I have a small slogan which I say at the end of my each talk, which kind of brings in all these principles in 6 lines. So here, this slogan is for you in Hindi. अन्न और दूध की मात्रा रहे कम से कम, अन्न और दूध की मात्रा रहे कम से कम, मांस और मीठा देते बीमारी का गम, मांस और मीठा देते बीमारी का गम. कृत्रिम तेल, रिफाइंड ऑयल, कृत्रिम तेल से रहिए हमेशा दूर, शुद्ध तेल और घी है ताकत से भरपूर. पौष्टिक आहार और संतुलित दिनचर्या का रहे हमेशा साथ, अनुशासित व्यायाम और उपवास में रहे सदा विश्वास. Greetings.